Hello, Sheridan School District. Welcome to Science Interventions for Independent and Dependent Variables. Let's start looking at the difference between the two types of variables while talking about a sailing experiment. So imagine that you wanted to build a faster sailboat because you want to win a sailing race. Of course, who doesn't want to win? Now, there's lots of things that you could change about your boat. You could change the length of the boat hull, the size of its sails, the shape of its sails, and the shape of the bow, all at the same time. But what if you made all those changes and then your boat really went faster? Would you know which change impacted the speed of your boat? Well, of course not. Was it changing the boat hull or the size of the sail? Or maybe even the shape of the sail? Who knows? The only way to know what really caused the change is to identify your independent variable, which is the change you make, and then measure the dependent variable, which is the outcome. So let's look at first what a variable is. By definition, a variable is a quantity or a condition that can be changed in an experiment. The word variable is closely related to vary or variation. Let's look at an example of independent variable. You see, it's what I change. It's the cause. It's the change I make. Manipulated change. It can be stated several different ways. Looking at this experiment, though, it seems as if the experimenter is changing or causing or choosing to water or not water. So we would say the independent variable is watering the plant. Now, why would we water or not water? Well, because we want to see if changing the amount of water causes a effect, which would be change in height. That's something that we can measure about the plant. So if our plant grows taller, then we would say the independent variable of watering must have caused a change in the height of the plant. There are other pieces in an experiment that are incredibly important as well. One would be the constant. And the constant is the piece of the experiment that stays the same. So, just like we stated earlier with our sailboat, we can only make one change. So we can only change the shape of the sail or the length of the boat. Everything else must remain the same. So like our plant experiment, we're going to choose to change the amount of water the plant receives, but the constant is the plants must be potted in the same type of pot, located in the same location so that they can receive the same amount of sunlight and also be planted in the same type of soil. Same, constant. Everything has to be the same except for the one change you make, which is your independent variable. So let's practice. We have an experiment here, and it's an egg experiment. The higher the temperature of the water, the faster an egg will cook. So what's the independent variable? What is it that I, as the experimenter, am choosing to change? What choice am I making? Think about that for a minute. If you look at this statement, you really only have two pieces. Higher temperature or faster the egg can cook. Which one can you control? Can you control how fast the egg cooks? No. But you can control the higher the temperature of the water. So, when setting up this type of experiment, you could say, have 3 different pots, and in each pot, the temperature of the water would be different. So you would be choosing to change the temperature of the water. Then you would put eggs in the water and time how fast it took each egg to cook. So the independent variable would be changing the temperature, and the dependent variable would be how fast the egg would cook. Let's look at another experiment. A student wanted to see if the score on the spelling test would be improved if they spent more minutes studying the spelling words. What would the independent variable be? Think for a minute. What is it that you, as the student, can control? What choice can you make? What change can you manipulate? I hope you said the amount of time spent studying. You see, this is another tricky one. You don't have control over the words the teacher puts on the test, the testing conditions, whether it's cold in the room or loud or noisy, how you feel that day. But you do have control over the amount of time you choose to study. That would be your independent variable. Then what would the dependent variable be? Think. That's right, dependent variable. What can you measure, or what can be measured here? So if I choose to spend more time studying, hopefully the score, which is a measurable number, a quantity, hopefully that score would increase. That makes the score the dependent variable. Very good. Now it's your turn. I have a drag and drop experiment here for you, or a drag and drop activity here for you. And you are going to drag the 4 pieces located at the bottom into their correct column. Independent variable, what you can choose. Dependent variable, the outcome. And remember to keep or to match the correct independent variable with the correct dependent variable. Hint, make sure the story makes sense. You will complete slide 13, slide 14, 15, and 16. Then you will submit this to your teacher on Canvas. If you have any questions, please consult your teacher, and I hope you make good choices and have a great day.